Good evening, Democrats. Woo! Well, you know, we still have people that are out there canvassing their last doors. So let's give them a hand. So to get started tonight, you know, it may be a long night, maybe a while to get some results in, but we'll go with the flow. But I'd like to get us started here and welcome you to the election night party. And I'm not going to send you out to any canvassing tomorrow. Yay. So I'm so glad you're here on this historic night. Oh, I'm Casey Hansen, chair of the party, and I didn't say that, but to start us off, I'd like to welcome to the stage Tribal Councilwoman Kathleen George from the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde. Kathleen.
Well, good evening, everyone. That was terrible. Good evening, everyone. That's better. Well, everyone, the work is done. The doors have been knocked, the calls have been made, and the campaign volunteers have been thanked. So as we begin tonight, let's remember with great gratitude all of the good people, the volunteers, the poll workers who are working hard now, right now, the voters and the courageous leaders who step up and run for election. It is because we believe in the strength and integrity of our democracy that so many people give up so much of their free time and sometimes much more to work for a better Oregon. It's because we are certain that every Oregonian's voice is needed. Because we understand that not only is it unjust to exclude any group from using their vote and their voice, but that in fact the wisdom, the strength, and perseverance of our historically marginalized peoples is an inseparable part of what a better future for Oregon looks like. And so, as we prepare to discover what Oregonians have decided tonight, we know that tomorrow the work begins again. The work to have the hard conversations, to find new solutions, and to try to find some understanding with someone who sees things differently than us. Because that is the only way forward. So tonight, I welcome you on behalf of the tribes of this place that we now call Portland, the descendants of the tribes of the Willamette Valley Treaty of 1855, the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde, welcome you and join you in working for that better future. Because when we are rooted in the history and the culture of a place, we have the best chance of seeing the right path forward. And that's what tonight is all about. The next steps forward on the path to the Oregon that we all believe in. So Hayumasi, Kanui Nakatilcham, thank you all so much for being here. And we look forward to spending the night with you and finding out what Oregon has in store for us all. Hayumasi.
Hi, folks. My name is Pete Lee. I have the honor of serving Democrats here in Oregon as the vice chair for the state party. And if you are able to, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And the better looking vice chair is coming.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rosa Colquitt, and I am the other vice chair of the Democratic Party of Oregon. It is good to see you. It's good to see everybody. I know that we're still rolling out of our COVID pandemic, and I know that it's not over. But I also know that because I've already hugged 2 people tonight, I don't think I had seen them in 2 years. So if there's someone you haven't seen, let them know that you're very happy to see them. I have the wonderful task of giving thank yous. And there's a lot of thank yous, and I appreciate the opportunity to thank them because without our sponsors, tonight just wouldn't be tonight. I'd like to take a moment to thank a few people for all their hard work, and they indeed made tonight possible. I'd first like to thank our sponsors. Thank you to our premier sponsors, United States Senator Ron Wyden, UFCW Local 555. If you're here, wave your hand. We thank you. Yeah. IBEW Local 48. Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe of Indians. Morel Inc. I bet you've been there. Yes. And NGP Van. I'm not sure if everybody knows what that is. The first time I saw it, I said, what is that? But at any rate, thank you. Thank you to our platinum sponsors, Tina Kotek. Woo. Pacific Northwest Regional Council of Carpenters. Wave your hand if you're around. Ed and Jody King, King Estate Winery. International Union of Painters and Allied Trades, District Council 5. Right, great. OFNHP. OFNHP, are you waving back there? Yes, you're represented. Thank you very much. SEIU Local 49 in the house. Target Smart. Woo. Deliver Strategies is another of our platinum sponsors. And ASME, are you you're here? Good, great. All righty, I'm going to go to our thanks to our gold sponsors, U.S. Senator Jeff Merkley. Woo. Governor Kate Brown. Yes. U.S. Congressman Peter DeFazio. U.S. Congressman Earl Blumenauer. U.S. Congressman Kurt Schrader. U.S. Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici. Secretary of State Shamia Fagan. Yes. Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum. Treasurer Tobias Reed. Labor Commissioner Val Hull. Also, we have many other gold sponsors, and we thank them. AFL-CIO, International Association of Machinists, Iron Workers Local 29, Act Blue, Bright Blue Inc. If you're here, just wave your hand. Future Pack. Yeah. The Pivot, Smart, Stones Phones, Winning Mark. And also another gold sponsor, Espousal Strategies. Are you here? Okay, Pete, you want to thank our silver sponsors?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, and thank you to our silver sponsors, Christina Stevenson, Senate Majority Leader Rob Wagner, State Senator James Manning Jr., State Senator Lou Frederick, State Representative Rob Nose, AFT Oregon, Barnett Strategies, Blue States PAC, C&E Systems, Oregon State Building and Construction Trades Council, SDLF, Winning Connections. UAW Local 492. Northwest Carpenters Union. And I guess they get both, bright blue ink again. All right. I would like to ask all elected office holders and Democrat candidates to please raise your hands. Woo, there we go. I think quite a few of them will be joining us here later. Can everyone give our office holders and Democrat candidates a big round of applause for all the hard work they do year in and year out? I'd also like to thank the Democratic Party of Oregon's amazing staff. Executive Director Brad Martin, Deputy Director Candy Emmons, Political Organizing Coordinator Ron Morgan, Constituency Organizing Coordinator Mario Parker Milligan, Data Director Jonathan Rudolph, Development Director Claire Hubler Curtis, Compliance Director Amelia Manlove, Development Assistant Morgan Campbell, and Operations Assistant Haley Anderson. A very special thank you to Cindy Moody for coming back on during this election cycle to help us out. I'd also like to give my absolutely heartfelt thanks to our incredible coordinated campaign staff, led by Coordinated Campaign Director Ashlyn Collin and Deputy Campaign Director Eric Smith. Thanks again to all of our hardworking Democrats. And thanks all for being here. So at this point, we're going to briefly clear the stage and be back in a few minutes once the polls close.
Off. They turned, no, it's on again. All righty, thanks. All right, Democratic timing, right? Anyway, happy Pacific Standard Time. Hey, did you enjoy that extra hour? Did you canvass for that extra hour? All right, I'll shut up about the canvassing now. Hey, I want to welcome you in here. There's people running around all over the building. So, you know, there's different candidates hosting events and the room will get a little bit more crowded, which if you notice, you folks in the chairs, they're there for you. But if you notice somebody that could use a chair, you know, they could, they come in with a cane or something like that. Go ahead and please, you know, share it, give it up for them, that kind of thing. Because we're Democrats and we do that and we help everybody out. Am I right? So a phrase that Brad Martin uses a lot, and so do I, is that Oregon is blue because it's forged blue. We don't come by Democratic majorities and Democratic office holders just because it's easy. You do the hard work. You, all of you, have done the hard work to make this state the great welcoming state it is. Yeah, let's give it up for Oregon, shall we? And you know, doggone it, you know, we're in hard times along with the rest of the world. But with our Democrats, with our Democratic policymakers, with our Democratic volunteers and financial supporters that help our Democrats gain office, we will see this Oregon through to a better way, always. So give yourselves a round of applause. So one of those main men serves in the U.S. Senate for us. Jeff Merkley knows what it means to be an Oregonian. His father taught him the values that he still holds true today: hard work, good education, strong families. Jeff fights in the U.S. Senate every day to restore the economy and create the same opportunities for Oregonians that were available to him in his youth. So please join me in welcoming to the stage our Senator, Jeff Merkley.
Hey, greetings, everybody. Are you fired up? All right, are you ready to see some good election results about 8:10 in 7 minutes? Yes. All right, well, let's just think of what's at stake here. Reproductive rights are on the ballot. We ready to win on reproductive rights? Climate is on the ballot. Are we ready to win on climate? Healthcare, housing, and education. Ready to win on healthcare, housing, and education? And equality of opportunities on the ballot. Ready to win on that? And finally, the very integrity of our democratic institutions is on the ballot. We have a captured Supreme Court. We have a corrupted, challenging process with gerrymandering and dark money. Ready to get rid of the dark money and restore institutions? All right. Well, I got to tell you, we are so fortunate to have Suzanne Bonamici representing us in Congress. And I don't think Suzanne's in the room yet, but go Suzanne. But how about if we also send Val Hoyle to Congress to represent us? And let's send Andrea Salinas to us to be the first Latina. And let's send Jamie also to get Jamie elected. Hey, 4 powerful women in our congressional delegation. That's worth fighting for. And I know y'all have been fighting for it. Let's get all 4 of them elected tonight. Now, we're going to have some results on the governor's race, and I'm really excited. I'm all prepared to cheer Tina on to victory. We've all been working hard. I'm excited about, we had any Tina signs in the crowd here yet? Not yet, but we will have later tonight when she's up here accepting her victory speech. But, you know, I think about the fact that she was speaker for more than 8 years. And I was speaker for 2 years. I know how tough it is to align everyone and get things done. But think about these values we were just talking about and what Tina made happen as Speaker of the House. Nothing could be signed by a governor unless she had got it done as Speaker and had gotten through the Senate. But if we start with education, the Student Success Act injected more than $2 billion extra into our schools. Tina got it done. On housing, she got through our turnkey projects for transitional housing as a big start on addressing the shortage of affordable housing in our state. Thank you, Tina. On healthcare, you may have heard of the REA Act, the Reproductive Health Equity Act, that puts Oregon at the leadership on reproductive rights of every single state in the union. Tina got it done. And for families who work, we have paid family leave. Thank you, Tina Kotek. And on climate, we have 100% clean electricity by 2040. That is a huge pioneering effort to make sure we're on the forefront of addressing climate chaos. Thank you, Tina Kotek. You know, we're in a battle between the powerful and the people. The powerful have a lot of lawyers. They have a lot of lobbyists. They have a lot of media campaigns. They have a lot of dark money, but we have grassroots fighters for the vision of government of, by, and for the people. That's all of you. Let's fight for the people. Now, later tonight, I think we're going to have a victory for our Senator Ron Wyden. I'll be looking forward to have him up here. Ron Wyden, well, I tell you, I couldn't have a better partner. He has been there on reproductive rights. He is there on climate. You know, all of those tax credits to promote solar and wind, He engineered so much of that as chair of the Senate Finance Committee. Ron Wyden, climate champion we desperately needed, and he came through for us. Well, folks, I've been really disturbed by the course of our country during these Trump years and the aftermath, the story of the big lie. Our institutions are in trouble. We have a captured Supreme Court. We have a lot of work to do. And I've been going back through the history of the role the Senate has played, the role that we have had dark times in this country and we found our way out of it. We are going to come to a pivot point, and we, the Democrats, are going to put our country back on track. I'm so proud to be part of this extended blue family. Let's save America. Let's save Oregon. Let's save the world. That's our simple task. Let's get it done. Thank you so much and good night. Take care.
Just a little bit about our next guest. Graham joined the Oregon labor movement as the state director for Working America, the community affiliate of the AFL-CIO in 2006. He has served in nearly every role at the Oregon AFL-CIO as an organizer, campaign manager, lobbyist, and as chief of staff. Throughout his career, he has worked hard to help Oregon workers build power through forming their own unions and by winning political and policy campaigns that can make a tangible difference in their lives. Graham currently serves as the president of AFL-CIO. Please give a warm and loud welcome to Graham Trainor to the stage.
Yeah, I roll deep, so we're going to wait for my folks to come up. Keep clapping for the Oregon labor movement. That's a good thing. I can't hear you. Fantastic. That is beautiful. If you didn't know already, Oregon is union strong. So I am so proud to be here with our labor and progressive family after a long, hard-fought campaign cycle. As Pete said, my name is Graham Trainor, and I have the best damn job in the state. I get to work with the women and men of the Oregon labor movement, the folks that make our state run. Let me just repeat, the folks that make our state run every single day. And like many of you, we've been in the campaign trenches for months, and it's always inspiring to see the diversity of our labor movement on full display during an election campaign. Whether that's nurses joining construction workers at a virtual phone bank, or steel workers standing next to educators and school employees, getting fired up at a canvas right before the firefighters barbecue for us, or public sector workers having thousands of worksite conversations about union endorsed candidates throughout the course of an election cycle. That is the beauty of the labor movement and what we do on the campaign trail. You can applause there if you want. You see our strength and our effectiveness, it comes from a guiding belief and value of solidarity, a belief that together we are stronger and can accomplish great things, but individually we are weak and vulnerable. That solidarity and that strength has been on display as the labor movement and progressive coalitions have fought to make some transformational progress in Congress. Am I right? Thanks to the leadership of who you just heard from and the most pro-union president in American history, we've seen investments in people, in infrastructure, in a worker-centered clean energy future, and in our social safety net. Historic progress, and working people are better for it. Am I right? But we've also experienced a lot of vulnerability and setbacks and disappointments over the last few years too, haven't we? We've weathered a deadly pandemic that has turned our world upside down and taken the lives of over 1 million Americans. We've seen a far-right Supreme Court chipping away at fundamental rights and protections. And we've seen politicians across the country buy into a strategy of fear, division, and exploiting some of the worst elements of our humanity, haven't we? But you know what's kept me going? The people and the leaders of Oregon. Leaders like Tina Kotek. I'm going to say that again. Leaders like Tina Kotek. Because at the same time, the federal government was AWOL and not doing a damn thing to protect workers from the pandemic. In Oregon, we have leaders and advocates who created our own workplace safety standards for COVID, one of just a few states to do so. That deserves an applause. And as the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade and took our country back nearly 50 years on access to reproductive health care and abortion rights. In Oregon, I'm going to repeat, in Oregon, we have leaders and advocates who had passed the strongest reproductive health care expansion in the country. And that was a couple years ago in preparation for this dark day, wasn't it? And let me just say one thing. Don't let anyone tell you that reproductive justice isn't a labor issue. Now, as some governors are pulling callous political stunts with the lives of immigrants and refugees by literally loading them onto airplanes headed to blue states and then hosting a press conference to brag about it, in Oregon, we have diverse leaders, immigrants and refugees themselves, who have continued to find ways for our state to be more welcoming, compassionate, and inclusive towards these important communities. Am I right? And as many states are rolling back worker protections and union rights, I got something for you. In Oregon, we now have the highest union membership rate at any point in our state's history, putting it at the 4th most union-dense state in the nation. Again, we are union strong. That's right. Now, despite all this progress, this election has reminded us that we can't take anything for granted right here in Oregon. Am I right? Those that aim to divide, weaken, take us backwards as a state are willing to spend millions to achieve their goals. They'd love nothing more than to create a chink, a crack in the blue pro-union wall that we've got here on the West Coast. Am I right? But let me tell you something. They might have a lot of money, but you know what Phil Knight and the corporate agenda don't have? They sure as hell don't have the people we do we? Because you see, the pandemic, the billionaire attacks have brought folks even closer together here in Oregon. Organizations and individuals putting differences aside and realizing how much more we have in common with one another, so much more than Phil Knight and his friends would like us to realize. Am I right? And the unprecedented statewide grassroots campaign operations that we've seen here in Oregon, that you've all taken part in, I hope, led by badass women, I might add, is what happens when we have a common enemy to battle. Am I right? An enemy that doesn't believe in the Oregon that you and I believe in. An enemy that loves the status quo, loves keeping working people in their place, and loves putting profits over people. And what I have seen this election cycle and on the campaign trail gives me pride and excitement about what we should see in tonight's election results. But no matter what happens tonight, our work in some ways will have just begun, because the people, the leaders, and the fabric of our progressive and labor community will lace up again and we'll get back to work, won't we? Because until every Oregon worker has a high-paying, family-supporting union job with benefits, we will fight. Until women and anyone who can become pregnant have full bodily autonomy and an unwavering choice about their future, we will fight. And until every person of color in Oregon feels safe in their communities, on their roads, and at work, we will fight. Let's say that again. We will fight. That's right. So thank you all to the defenders of democracy, the warriors for workers, all the badass women and candidates of color who are winning this cycle, and to the people and leaders of this great state. Because of you and our collective strength and solidarity, we will continue to move our state forward and achieve an economy that works for all Oregonians. Am I right? Okay, I got one. I wouldn't be a labor guy if I didn't have one ask of you. I want to make sure that you tip all your servers well tonight. They are members of Unite Here, bargaining their first contract. And right now, I gotta give you a little secret. Right now, they're actually in a fight for tip fairness with their employer, and they're gonna go to arbitration about it. They're gonna go to arbitration about it. So who in this room is with the Unite Here members here at the Hyatt? I can't hear you. Who is with the Unite Here members at the Hyatt? That's right. Thank you all. Solidarity forever.
Mr. Graham Trainer, where are you? Where's Graham? That's okay. I was just gonna, again, my name is Rosa Colquitt. I'm a vice chair of the Democratic Party. And I was just gonna tell Mr. Graham Trainer, he put a shot of energy in this place, didn't he? Yeah, yes, he did. He's a tough act to follow. But I tell you what, I have such a, we're gonna take it down just a little bit, folks. I love the excitement. We love the energy. I have the privilege, and I always call it a privilege, and I mean that from my heart, of introducing a most beautiful lady. I'm gonna have to get you to tone it down a little bit. Come on, folks. Yeah. All right. I love the excitement. I have the honor and the privilege of introducing a beautiful lady. And I don't want you to miss not a single word of what she's going to share with us. She has been a wonderful friend to me for as long as I can remember. And she is a friend to all Oregonians. I would like to bring to the stage in just a moment, Oregon Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum. Yes. Ellen has spent her life fighting for and protecting the people of Oregon as a federal prosecutor, a judge, and as our Attorney General. Since January 2017, state attorney generals have been both the first and last line of defense against the Trump administration's constant barrage of illegal and unconstitutional actions, be they against the environment, immigrants, healthcare, or LGBTQ plus communities. Our Attorney General has been there every step of the way, looking out for Oregonians who have been harmed by these actions, and she succeeded. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum, please.
Thank you, Rosa. Isn't she amazing? And thank you to Graham Trainer and that amazing entourage of fantastic union members and leaders. And let's hear it for our workers and all the workers here in this hotel. Thank you. Thank you. And I don't have an entourage exactly, but imagine the entire Oregon Department of Justice behind me, because I feel like we work so closely together and they are a fabulous group. And I know that they would want to hear me say that tonight. So thank you to so many speakers this evening, beginning with our illustrious senators. And I predict soon Governor-elect Kotek will be speaking to us. I sure hope so. Want to give my biggest thanks to everyone here and across Oregon who've worked so tirelessly for this election. You are the heart and the soul of the Democratic Party of Oregon. And all of us who are on this stage this evening, we know that we would not be here without you. And we also know how vitally important you are to democracy. Thank you. Every election is important, of course. Every election makes us feel hopeful. For those of us committed, for those of us committed to democracy, committed to the core values of the Democratic Party and to making real positive change in our communities and the world, we will never stop fighting for a better future. We are the party. We are the party of what is possible, not what is in the past. We are the party of we can do better, not let's tear it all down. We are the party that says all are welcome here. Let me hear you say that. All are welcome here. And when we say all, we mean it. That is what is in our hearts, and that is what we are fighting for. Let's keep up the fight. And now, to this basic truth, the challenges of the past 3 years are not about to let up, not even here in Oregon. We Democrats must find a way to move us all forward together as one Oregon. If systems are not working, we must change them. And if we're uncertain about how to solve a problem, we must broaden our circles. And to remain fresh and relevant, we must lift up new voices. And let me tell you, we have amazing new voices in this state. Just look at who's running for the state legislature. It's an amazing group of fresh new voices. And I cannot wait for them all to be our Democrats to be elected and to be working with them soon, starting in January. As many of you know, as your Attorney General, I kind of view myself as Oregon's mama bear. I fight for and I protect all Oregonians in all parts of our state. I also look out for and I work closely with other state attorneys general throughout the country. And I'm happy to tell you, my colleagues are more than holding their own this evening across the country. 6 of my Democratic colleagues have opponents who are election deniers and they want to criminalize abortion. But I am hopeful they're all my colleagues going to be reelected tonight. And I'm checking, and I'm checking. And you're going to hear more. You're going to hear much more about Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Healey, now Governor-elect of the state of Massachusetts. And Another Attorney General, Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro. I believe his race has been called as governor of the state of Pennsylvania. And back to AGs, we have a chance to flip as many as 3 states in this Attorney General election this year. Through my involvement with these national races, I've seen up close and personal how hard work and a deep commitment to the rule of law can be both good politics and good governance. And I, for one, cannot wait to get started with Oregon's 2023 legislature and our new Governor Kotek to do the hard work needed to help our state move into a healthier, safer, more equitable future for every Oregonian. And I could also tell you, whatever the outcome of this election, I will be there to defend the values that we have worked to enshrine in Oregon law. They're not going anywhere. We can do great things as one Oregon, the Oregon that we love and we cherish. So thank you all for everything you do to make ours a better state. Congratulations to our winners, but no one is a loser. We are in this together for the duration. Thank you.
Let's give her a round of applause, Attorney General, saving our rights, Ellen Rosenbaum. Woo! Hey, a couple of national announcements. I know you people are watching the TVs and looking at your cell phones. Put your cell phones away. Nah, you can leave them out. Sharice Davids of Kansas has won her re-election bid. Yeah, my buddy, Kansas. Senator Maggie Hassan will be senator in New Hampshire for 6 more years. All right. I am very pleased to welcome the next duo up to stage. These folks from the Oregon Federation of Nurses and Health Professionals at Southwest Medical Center are amazing. OFNHP. They include healthcare workers who work across Oregon and Washington with Peace Health and Kaiser Permanente. They work towards improving the quality of care of their patients, creating safer workspaces and securing more affordable health care and wages for their workers, to name just a few things. And I want to tell you what, these folks are freaking rock stars for the Democratic Party of Oregon. So I want you to give a big Democratic welcome to Shauna Ross and Hannah Winchester of the Oregon Federation of Nurses. Woo!
Good evening. I'm Shauna Ross. I'm a registered diagnostic medical sonographer at Peace Health Southwest. I am the co-chair of our Political Education Action Committee at Oregon Federation of Nurses and Health Professionals. We are a union that has over 5,000 members. We have everyone from food service workers to physician's assistants. We cover areas of service and maintenance such as your EVS, your CNAs, your PARs, to our technical units, which is diagnostic imaging, which I'm a part of, our surgical techs, our pharmacy techs, our respiratory therapists, our optical techs for Kaiser. We move into the professional units such as case managers, physical therapists, occupational therapists, and of course, physician's assistants. That is our breadth and our scope of our union. We support the hospitals of Kaiser, Sacred Heart in Eugene, Peace Health Southwest in Vancouver, St. John's in Longview, St. Charles in Bend, and we are waiting for a contract ratification for Mid-Columbia and the Dalles. That is what we stand. As the co-chair of PEAK, a lot of you that have asked for our endorsements know who I am. I'm your friendly email person. And we're going to talk a little bit about what we think healthcare in the future needs. Y'all need to pay attention because we're the ones that take care of you at the bedside. I'm going to introduce Hannah Winchester. She is a home health physical therapist for Kaiser, and she's going to tell you about some of the goals we have at OFNHP for the coming years.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Shauna. I'm Hannah Winchester with OFNHP. Thank you so much for inviting us here tonight. Thank you so much for your time. And I think over the last 2 years, I think we've surely earned our position up here. So the victories we've been seeing today are ones we can all celebrate in. We did it together. Over the last 2 years, we've seen the importance of not just working together, but really listening and hearing from each constituent group that makes up the progressive coalition of this state. Our goal as union members with OFNHP and healthcare workers is to first raise the voices of our coworkers and our colleagues while ensuring that specific needs are reflected in the mission we are developing across Oregon. Unions are the most important vessel for ensuring that working people can develop power and win things like living wages, benefits, and adequate working conditions. Likewise, healthcare workers like us are also a powerful and essential force, supporting our communities with life-saving care and keeping our state healthy. Any progressive, powerful coalition will allow both of these groups of people, unions and healthcare workers, to help lead the way. Our strength comes from this collaboration. Our political leaders need healthcare workers and union members, just as we need you, our electoral champions. We at OFNHP commit to supporting political leaders who take the needs of our union members, healthcare workers, and you, our patients, seriously and put our issues on the state's agenda. We are facing a critical staffing shortage in hospitals and clinics across the state. While at the same time, many healthcare workers are reporting attacks on their livelihoods, attacks on themselves, questionable safety at work, and their protected right to organize. These are issues that we expect our political allies to make a priority in the coming years. Our message to the DPO is clear. When you stand up for frontline healthcare workers, we will stand up for you. So let's take this partnership into 2023 by committing to a vision of Oregon that ensures healthcare, unions, and living wages for all. And that promises that the voices of healthcare workers are in every conversation about the future of our state. Our vision of progressive politics in OFNHP is one that is guided by our rank and file membership. And you can rest assured that when our members feel heard, you will feel supported. This is how we determined our slate of endorsements when we identified powerful allies that showed a commitment to working in solidarity with both our members and those we serve. We are excited about this ongoing effort to fix healthcare in Oregon. And while the fight is just starting, we are far from tired and we are far from through. Thank you very much.
UFCW Local 555 are partners in our work of electing Democratic officials who fight for Oregon's working families. With over 20,000 members, they are a force of nature. With workers on the front line during the pandemic in grocery and retail stores, manufacturing goods and keeping the supply chain running, and supporting patient care in the healthcare industry. Tonight, UFCW Local 555 has invited one of our young union allies, William Wasik, to speak on their behalf. William, welcome to the stage.
Hello, my name is.
Hold on, bud.
Oh. Hello, my name is William. For almost a year, my mom, Christina, has been running for Oregon Labor Commissioner. Our friends at United Food and Commercial Workers 555 asked me to say a few words about the race and why I think it's so important to have a good labor commissioner. First, I want to thank you to the UFCW, especially Labor Commission I'm especially the UFC members that work in grocery stores. They kept my house stocked with junk food and the caffeine that powered my mom's campaign. In the last year, I've been through lots of rallies, pickets, and speeches, and I even got to throw candy in a parade. And I may not know all the details, but I can get that one important things are for the bosses to treat their employees with respect, for workplaces to be safe, and for the people to be happy. The right labor commissioner can help make sure of these things, but the wrong labor commissioner could help bosses get away with this stuff. My mom is the right labor commissioner. She'll work with all of you to make sure that workers get what they deserve. I want to thank some people and organizations that helped my mom's campaign, like UFCW, the carpenters, electricians, nurses, firefighters, and laborers, SEIUAFT, teachers, school, employees. Actually, the list is really long. So thank you. I also want to say thanks and I love you to my mom's biggest contributor, my dad, Eric. Campaigning is really hard for a family, but this is important and it's worth it. I'm proud of you, Mom.
Thank you, Oregon Democrats. My name's Christina Stevenson, and for the last year or so, I've been running for Labor Commissioner. And if you haven't heard, the race has been called, and I am so proud to say that thanks to all of our hard work, I'm going to be the next Labor Commissioner. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you. This is amazing. I mean, I got to tell you, the Bureau is a really special place. And you have all come to learn that now by having to hear about it for the last year. But I mean, this is the agency that protects our civil rights. This is the agency that makes sure people are paid fairly. And it creates real opportunity through the apprenticeship programs for Oregonians. And at its core, you know, the Labor Commissioner's job is just to make sure that as Oregon's economy grows and changes, that the workers, the good employers, the side hustlers, the dreamers, you know, everybody who makes our economy run, that they know they have someone in their corner. You know, someone who's looking out for them, who wants them to succeed. You know, so hopefully by this point, you know, I'm a civil rights attorney and my day job is helping to make sure that workers are protected. I also help small businesses comply with the rules. And over the years, I've had the opportunity to help hundreds of Oregonians just make the system work the way it's supposed to. And when they've seen areas where the deck is stacked against Oregon's working people and small businesses, I've tried to do something about it. And that is what I'm going to continue to do as Oregon's next Labor Commissioner. I think we are all here because we can agree on the same thing. Oregon should be the best place to live and work in this country. I mean, a place where workers are treated with dignity and respect in the workplace, a place where big companies have to play by the rules and there's a level playing field for small businesses, where everyone can earn a raise whether or not they went to college, and where no matter who you are, who you love, what you believe, you have the same rights as everyone else. I'm so glad that you got to see my family. You got to see William. The list of thank yous is so, so long, but I really want to thank all the individuals, all the organizations, everybody who stood with me throughout this campaign and believed in our shared vision of what Oregon's economy can be. To my volunteers, supporters, endorsers, friends, family, the Oregon labor movements. I cannot thank you enough. Thank you everyone for believing in this vision of Oregon. And now let's get to work.
Labor Commissioner-elect Christina Stevenson. How good does that sound? Woo! So before the next gentleman comes up on the stage, I should note that he lives in Clackamas County. And I should note for his benefit, Rob, are you paying attention? Clackamas County has elected Catherine McMullen as its new county clerk. Woo! Well done, Clackamas. Our Oregon Senate Majority Leader, Rob Wagner, began his tenure in the legislature in 2018, and he has worked diligently on behalf of his constituents and the state of Oregon to emphasize fiscal responsibility and strategic investments for the critical programs statewide. He has fought to keep Oregonians safe from gun violence, expand healthcare, expand access to healthcare, and create greater educational opportunities for all. Please welcome to the stage Oregon Senate Majority Leader Rob Wagner.
Folks, on behalf of Oregon State Senate President Peter Courtney, who can't be here this evening, and on behalf of my fellow colleagues in the Oregon State Senate, tonight in Oregon and the Oregon State Senate looks like it's going to be an incredible night to celebrate. We celebrate the willpower that it takes our candidates to get through a hard-fought campaign in the face of the Republican fear machine. We celebrate running on a message of hope and fear, fighting fear, but yeah. But we celebrate, my colleagues here, we all celebrate creating real change for a better Oregon, for everyone, building on our legacy of success with an eye to the future. And we know what makes the Oregon State Senate a special place isn't the Capitol Rotunda, and it's not the marble floor, and it's not the dark cherry desks. It's the commitment and the compassion and the courage of those here who step forward to serve. I want to take just 2 minutes tonight, and I want to ask you to please give it up for the state senators that I have on the stage with me tonight. Senator Kathleen Taylor, leading on paid family leave for Oregon and giving workers a fair shot at a better future. I believe he was on his way. State Senator Casey Jama. Yeah. Thousands of Oregonians were kept from facing eviction during the pandemic, and immigrants and refugees are extended opportunities for better lives because of Senator Jama. Senator Michael Dembro. Undocumented students have tuition equity, and all students are receiving a pathway to a brighter future in the state of Oregon. State Senator Kate Lieber. Hitting the ground running in her first legislative session, Senator Lieber led on landmark investments in mental and behavioral health. State Senator Elizabeth Steiner Hayward, with her Ways and Means slide rule, carefully measured budgets and supported communities in Oregon from Astoria to Ontario. And State Senator Sarah Gelser Bluen, a true national leader on protecting children from abuse and unparalleled compassion, fighting for equitable access to services for our most vulnerable. And folks, When I said it was time to celebrate, the results are looking really good. I want to get a shout out to state senators and candidates who are not in the room, but State Senator Janine Solomon in Washington County. If we give a huge hurrah to her, she is looking absolutely fantastic. In Southern Oregon, State Senator Jeff Golden is actually looking fantastic right now. We also want to celebrate Senators Kasha Lawrence Spence and Senator Armitage, who did incredible things with their time in the Oregon State Senate. In Lane County tonight, and I'm sure they can hear you, Sergeant Major James Manning Jr., Floyd Przonski, Senator Byer, thank you for your contribution to Springfield. Tonight, they are celebrating with the next Congresswoman-elect, Val Hoyle. Yeah. And I also want to honor our new members who are stepping up to run from the Oregon House. With us on stage today is State Representative and now State Senator-elect Winsve Campos. An absolute champion for all people for healthcare, regardless of their background. Right now in Clackamas County, it is actually looking really good for State Representative Mark Meek running for the Oregon State Senate. I believe I hit Deb Patterson. I did not hit Deb Patterson. Folks, just go on right there, hit refresh on the Marion County and Polk County browser. State Senator Deb Patterson is looking absolutely fantastic right now. And to all of our candidates, to all of our candidates that stepped up as first-time candidates, Aaron Woods, Ashley Pelton, Roz Mason, Melissa Bush, every single person who went out there in red areas and blue areas and stepped up to serve. This is what it is to be in the Oregon State Senate. Thank you so much, everyone. What an honor it is to be here tonight. Thank you for your commitment and courage and your support. It looks like we're going to get it done. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Senator Wagner, and to all of our senators. We appreciate the fabulous, amazing work that you do each and every day on behalf of Oregon. I'm going to switch gears a little here and talk about a ballot measure. You interested in the ballot measures? Yes, we are, very much so. Yes on 113. Oregonians are no stranger to what happens when Republican radicals walk out on the job. No, yes, we're familiar with it. They stall progress and harm critical infrastructure and programs that help all Oregonians. Tonight, Oregonians have said, enough is enough. Yeah. We are so grateful to the work and partnership of the team that helped this initiative across the finish line so that our legislators are accountable to show up for work, just like everybody in this room. You and I are accountable to show up to work. Here to tell us more about this campaign, I would like for you to give a round of applause and to welcome our friend, Hannah Love. Hannah.
Hi, everybody. My name is Hannah Love, and I had the honor of working on the Yes on Measure 113 campaign. I want to thank the voters of Oregon for standing up for our democracy tonight. Tonight, we resoundingly voted to pass Measure 113, which will finally hold politicians accountable when they walk off the job. We will not let the gridlock of walkouts led by extreme partisans hold our democracy back here in Oregon. We will move forward on the issues that Oregonians care about, like protecting our climate, standing up for workers, a woman's right to choose, preventing gun violence, addressing homelessness, and standing up for Oregon values that have otherwise been derailed by walkouts. I want to thank our coalition and steering committee on this measure, our friends at SEIU, OEA, AFSCME, the Oregon League of Conservation Voters, the Oregon Nurses Association, the Oregon Just Transition Alliance, and our friends in the Oregon Senate Democrats and Oregon House Democrats. And of course, thank you to the enormous swath of voters who supported our measure and made sure that extreme Republicans like Christine Drazan can no longer walk off the job, walk away from their constitutional duties with complete impunity. Ask any Oregon worker. We can't walk off the job with zero consequences and zero accountability. And Oregonians are tired of politicians who think they can play by a separate set of rules. This is a victory for all Oregonians who care about our democracy and about moving our state forward. Thank you for passing Measure 113 tonight, Oregonians and Oregon Democrats.
And that's what we call accountability, folks. Because Democrats work hard and we expect all legislators to work hard as well. All right, I'm going to give you some numbers. Oh, just what you want, some more numbers. And my phone went down. All right. This is what you did. In the campaign, almost 400,000 door knocks and over 234,000 dials. That's amazing. Give yourselves a hand. Over 100,000 conversations and 224,000 doors knocked in the final 10 days with 4,000 individual volunteers. That's amazing. Give yourselves a hand. You know, that's why we're Forge Blue that I was talking about earlier, because it does take on all of us. It takes the donors, it takes the party people, the neighborhood leaders, the precinct committee persons are 40. That's 40 coalition partners. You do amazing work, and that's why we live in a democratic state. Give yourselves a hand. Now on the stump, I've been talking a little bit because the candidates have to talk positive. But I'm the one that gets to rip up on the Republicans. And I'm going to start doing it again because we got another election coming around. You know, people are grumpy, people are tired, people facing hard times. We get that. Well, guess what? Every single bit of the problems we face in this country, in this state, in these communities today is because of GOP policy. Whether it started 40 years ago with Ronald Reagan and that trickle-down garbage, or whether it's an aftermath of Trump economics. So Democrats, we're going to keep fighting, right? And we're going to keep fighting with and for our elected representatives. And guess what? One of the best I have the honor to introduce right now. In Oregon, we know him as the senator that's always willing to listen, whether it's one of his annual town halls in each of our state's 36 counties, over 1,000 of them now, or in the aisles of the neighborhood of Fred Meyer. Senator Wyden is a fierce advocate for protecting abortion rights, for ensuring health care as a basic human right. He's a proven and powerful defender of our public lands, moving America toward a clean energy future. And Senator Wyden is a tireless champion of privacy protections and defending American elections from foreign hackers. He is the person Democratic candidates across the state look to as a model of how to take progressive message to all corners of the state with his 1,027 and counting town halls of how to effectively communicate with our Oregon values. He's also constantly helping candidates raise money, recruit volunteers, kick off canvases, and steal hats at the canvases, I might add. I'll never forget that. And raise money, recruit volunteers, and work to fund their field offices. Simply put, Ron Wyden has been our go-to guy to make sure we keep Oregon blue. Let's give it up a big, huge Oregon thank you and welcome to Senator Ron Wyden and his family.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I am humbled and honored that you have chosen me to represent you for the next 6 years. At a time when Oregonians are struggling to afford life necessities and women face losing their most basic rights, I am so grateful that Oregon has told me to keep battling for the progress for all and never retreat into the lies and cruelty that benefit only a few in our country. And in all 36 counties, Oregonians have trusted me to listen to their concerns and follow up. And I vow to continue those conversations in countless town halls, grocery store aisles, and chance encounters on Main Street in Oregon. Now, I want to introduce my own leadership team, my wife, Nancy, the twins, the always entertaining Ava and William, and then the inimitable Scarlett and Lily. That's our team. And then I want to give a special shout out to our incredible campaign dream team, Jeff Michaels, Lisa Rockhour, Sarah Biddleman, Tim Leahy, and Hank Stern. Thank you to them. It may be a rough night in some parts of America because for the last 2 years, those of us willing to battle big oil, big pharma, and big money have been attacked through the worst sorts of lies and libel. Lies and libel designed to rally the far-right base and provoke violence in communities across the country. I want everybody to know that never, never will we accept those kinds of approaches because we are committed to democracy winning every election, every election. Because the fact is, tyranny only needs to win once. And on our watch, we're not going to let that happen. So I'm optimistic tonight. And I know my outstanding Senate partner, Jeff Merkley, is as well, that the end of this journey will ultimately put Tina Kotek in the driver's seat to move Oregon forward. And I'm just as confident that the talented women who are running for Congress, Val Hoyle, Andrea Salinas, and Jamie McLeod Skinner, are going to join me in Washington, D.C. And I think that what this election comes down to, after you've listened to all the talking heads and the like, we'll do a kind of little Oregon poll. And that is, do we want to move forward with everybody aboard, or are we going to let the extremists yank us back to benefit a privileged few? I know where I stand. Are we moving forward? I can't hear you. I can almost hear you. Are we moving forward? All right. I'm not going to stop fighting to move us forward. And the fact is, in the last few weeks, we have achieved some enormous progress. On October 1st, our law that put in place the first penalties for big pharma price gouging went into effect. First penalties against price gouging. You probably saw the reports of the progress we're making to bring good paying manufacturing jobs back from overseas to Oregon. And our economic policies have made it clear that we're for everybody getting ahead and not just those people who were born on third base and thought they hit a triple. And finally, after a decade of battling, the Congress has accepted what I designed, the biggest investment in fighting climate change in American history. So I want to close by talking about democracy for just a minute because it underlies everything we care about. Fighting opponents who are divorced from the truth and who face no consequences for their lies, we've got to show voters that we're fighting for them and their families. This is a war we cannot lose, regardless of the outcome of any battle. We cannot rest until the fight to protect democracy is protected once and for all. So, if I could close on a little note from my basketball past, I am going to, in this fight to protect these fundamental American values, I am going to come every single day to fight for you, to win for you, and the fight for those next wins starts right now. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Right now. The fight starts now.
Team Wyden, everybody. And Oregon, we've got him at least until January of 2029. Woo! Hey, I want to tell you that Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici and Congressman Earl Blumenauer could not be here tonight. They are on official business because Democrats work. But they send their regards, and yeah, they're going to be in Congress again, of course. So right now, we're going to take a little break, put a little media up, and we'll be back in a little while with some more speakers. righty, let's get back to it, folks. How you guys doing? You still okay? All right, I want to welcome up to the stage Annie Ellison from Emerge Oregon. Annie is the executive director of Emerge and has crisscrossed the country working on campaigns for progressive Democrats from statewide to state house offices, city council, and Congress in the Midwest, the South, the East Coast, Oregon, and California. You got a lot of miles there, girl. She served as campaign manager for our Secretary of State, Shamia Fagan. Emerge Oregon is changing the face of politics by identifying, training, and inspiring Democrats who identify as women to run for all levels of office. And as a 2012 graduate of Emerge Oregon, I welcome Annie Ellison.
How's it going, everyone? Are you having fun scrolling through PDFs on your phone? All right. So my name's Annie Ellison. I'm the director of Emerge, and we recruit and train Democratic women to run for office and win in Oregon. Yes, give it up. So Emerge is here because of people like Senator Ron Wyden and Senator Jeff Merkley, Congresswoman Bonamici, who almost 15 years ago understood that women are the base of the Democratic Party. So not just the voters who show up and vote Democrats into office, it's our volunteers, it's our staff, it's our strategists. And if you look around this room, it's a lot of Democratic women who have answered the call to serve their communities and our democracy. Emerge has trained over 300 women in Oregon and helped elect over 100. Where we really focus is on building our pipeline of talent. So not so much the races with the big budgets and the big polling. We talk about city council, legislature, county commissions, county clerks, you name it, all the way down the ballot. So these are the offices that really impact your daily life. These are the experiences that empower women to run for the House of Representatives, to run for Senate, for governor, for president. So while we're waiting for results tonight from a lot of the campaigns that you've seen on TV many, many, many times, I'm going to share some stories with you about candidates you may not have seen on TV, but you need to know their names because they are the future of this party and they're the future of this state. These are the next Andrea Salinas', Jamie McLeod Skinner's, Val Hoyles. Woo, Jamie. All of whom, by the way, are up right now in really close races. And all of whom 10 years ago were being recruited and trained by Emerge Oregon. So these are the Shamia Fagans, the Christina Stevensons, who, oh, you know them? Let them know. Yes. So these are, Emerge recruits and trains women who are Democrats and only Democrats for one reason. Emerge is about our dreams for the Oregon of 2050, not our memories of the Oregon of 1950. So we know that when women run as their authentic selves in communities that they love, they're unstoppable. For example, Catherine McMullen running for clerk in Clackamas County, where I want some election results. Anessa Hartman, who's a Gladstone city councilor, who lost her job during the pandemic, started going to city council meetings. She is poised to become the first Native American woman to represent her district in the state house. Pastor Morgan Schmitz, who is asking Deschutes County voters to give us Schmitz and elect her. Emerson Levy, who is up right now in Bend and Redmonds in a House district that is probably our best pickup opportunity of the cycle. Yeah, Heidi Lube, who just became the first woman mayor of Tigard. You're welcome, Tigard. Melanie Keebler, who's being real bashful, but is going to be the next mayor of Bend. So we believe that when you rise, because you will,
It's your job to lift other people up around you. But so there's a lot of talk about a wave tonight. There might be a big wave. There might be a small wave. There might not be a wave at all. But wave or not, there's a tide coming in, and that tide is coming in with a lot of Emerge women. So tonight, 46 Emerge women are on the ballot in 17 counties. 3 out of 3 competitive congressional races have Emerge women as the nominee. And the balance of power on the county commissions of Clackamas, Deschutes, and Lane counties all depend on Emerge women in their races tonight. 11 city council candidates in Ashland, Albany, Beaverton, Florence, Gresham, Independence, which we just won, by the way, King City, which we just won, by the way, Monmouth, Staten, and Newport, which we just won, by the way. In a majority of competitive races for the State House, Emerge women are the nominee. So at Emerge, if you remember 3 things: be yourself, lift as you rise, 2050, not 1950. And when we elect Democratic women tonight, it's going to be a victory for all of us. And we can't wait to party with y'all. Thank you so much. Have a great night, Democrats.
Well, folks, I'm back again. And I've had such a wonderful privilege tonight. You guys are really hanging in there, and thank you so much for that. I know that most speakers have thanked you for the work that you've done leading us up to tonight, but I simply can't take this microphone without adding my words of deep appreciation to each and every person in this room. There is no election without you. So if you haven't applauded yourself tonight, before I introduce the next speaker, would you please applaud yourselves? That's not totally terrific, but thank you. I'd like to introduce Ann Doe, who is yes. She's with Planned Parenthood of Oregon. She is the executive director and is a strong advocate for unrestricted access to reproductive health care for all. Let's get some applause for that. Okay. You know, I feel like I don't need to finish, but I'm going to. This is great. In her previous role as Planned Parenthood's political director, she fought for abortion, family planning, and gender-affirming care to be affirmed as essential services during the 2020 pandemic. She continues to work on promoting sexual and reproductive freedom, education, and affordability for all Oregonians. Please welcome her. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing tonight? This is the first election since Roe was overturned, and we know that the rage that all of us felt, where millions of people were pouring out into the street, will show up at the ballot box tonight. Because what is on the ballot tonight is freedom. It is bodily autonomy. It is the ability for every single one of us to stand in solidarity, because no one is free unless we all are free. We have done every single thing we can to bring it home tonight. We have knocked those doors. We have made those calls. We have talked to our friends. We have talked to our family, because we know that the arc of history does not bend to justice unless you put your back into it. Who put their back into tonight? Let's hear it for you. This is one step in a long journey to justice, because we know that we have to fight for every single one of us to have the opportunity to thrive, to survive, to be able to live in safe and whole communities. And it starts with every single one of us here. The Supreme Court wanted to take away our bodily autonomy. They wanted to take away our right to be able to control our bodies and our lives and our freedom. And tonight we will tell them no. No. The courts do not decide our fates, we do. And it starts every single day with every single one of you showing up in the streets, donating to abortion funds, taking care of your community. Every single big and little act that we do makes a difference. And together, we will make change of historic proportions because we are done settling for breadcrumbs. It is time for justice, for reproductive justice, for economic justice, for racial justice. And together, we take one step tonight, but we are in this fight for the future and for the long haul. And I am so proud of all the candidates who stepped up to run, from our amazing congressional delegation to Tina Kotek, our next governor of this state, to all the amazing candidates running for our state legislature. At the end of the day, we now know that the states are the future of where we get to go. And here in Oregon, we are charting a bright future. Thanks to all of you. Thank you so much.
Right. Endo, everybody! Woo! So Christine Chen Ryan is an amazing woman. She's a business owner, a consultant, and a community activist. Among the many committees and organizations she's been a part of and led, Christine has served as president of the Oregon chapter of National Organization of Women, member of Prosper Portland Council on Economic and Racial Equity, executive vice chair of the Democratic National Committee Small Business Council, chair of the Democratic Party of Oregon Budget Committee. That's no easy task. And chair of the Oregon Small Business for Responsible Leadership. Please join me in welcoming to the stage, Christine Chen Ryan.
Thank you, Casey, for inviting me to speak here tonight. I am Christine Chen Ryan, National Board Member of the National Organization for Women, known as NOW, member of the NOW PAC, and past president of the Oregon State chapter of NOW. NOW is the largest grassroots organization of feminist activists in the United States and has hundreds of thousands of contributing supporters and members in chapters in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. Since its founding in 1966, NOW's purpose is to take action through intersectional grassroots activism to promote feminist ideals, lead societal change, eliminate discrimination, and achieve and protect the equal rights of all women and girls in all aspects of social, political, and economic life. NOW's 6 core priorities are reproductive rights and justice, economic justice, ending violence against women, racial justice, LGBTQIA+ rights, constitutional equality, which is the ERA. NOWPAC endorses federal candidates, and this year we re-endorsed Congressman Earl Blumenauer and Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici. We endorsed and gave contributions to Val Hoyle, CD4, Jamie McLeod Skinner, CD5, Andres Salinas, our new CD6. Now endorsed candidates, Oregon now endorsed candidates, Tina Kotek for governor, Deb Patterson, Senate District 10, David Gumberg, House District 10, Jules Waters, House District 37, Travis Nielsen, House District 44, Dr. Tree Tran, House District 45. I was just there at her election night party. Emerson Levy, House District 52, and Lieber Ford, Clackamas County Commission, position 2. Oregon now is an all-volunteer board, and we would love for you to join us as a member or donate to our causes. To know more about us, please visit noworegon.org, NOWOREGON, and read about the legislative task force, the bills that we endorsed this last session. Thank you and good night.
All right. I have some fantastic news. I don't know if you know this, but yes on Measure 112 has passed. Yes. Yes, it has. And this was one of those measures. I know we had 4, but it was one that I paced and watched and listened and read and talked to folks endlessly. So this is some really good news tonight. The Democratic Party of Oregon believes in the ongoing fight for equality for all. Oregon is one of only 10 states that still has language in its constitution allowing slavery and involuntary servitude as a form of punishment for a crime. Don't know if you knew that. This slavery loophole language is a dehumanizing relic that does not represent our values as Oregonians or as people. Tonight, Oregonians took a step forward and made it clear slavery has been removed from the Oregon Constitution. And now we can put this relic behind us and focus on what's next in the fight for justice. I know we're all together on this. We would now like to introduce Sandy Chung and Troy Ramsey to speak on Measure 112. Thank you so much. Yes. Where are you? Welcome. Welcome. You bet.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sandy Chung, she, her pronouns. I am the executive director of the ACLU of Oregon. The ACLU of Oregon, our mission is to defend and advance civil liberties and civil rights. And we are so proud to have supported the Measure 112 campaign. We believe that every individual has inherent dignity and value, and no one is disposable. And we are so grateful to the Oregonians with lived experience with incarceration and the young people at Willamette University who got Measure 112 on the ballot. And we are so grateful to the Oregonians who said no to slavery, no to racism, and supported Measure 112. Tonight is a night for all of us to celebrate the incredible work we've done together to create greater justice, equity, and care in Oregon. And I want to introduce you to the real leaders of this campaign. And so next, I'm going to ask Troy Ramsey, one of the leaders of this campaign, to speak.
All right, thank you. This is a real honor to be up here tonight. But I just want to give a special shout out to Uhuru Sasa. Let's hear it for Uhuru Sasa. They're responsible for helping getting this measure out, Willamette University. And we want to thank Theron Hall, Kenny, Abdur, Nikki, and Jordan. And with that being said, that we got this out of our Constitution, I'm gonna let my colleague Sterling tell you some history.
The history's already been shared, and we'd like to thank you. This part of the Constitution enshrines one of the darkest parts of our nation's history, but tonight we moving forward, and we just want to be clear that there is still more work to do towards equity, but with the momentum and the support of Oregon, we've made tremendous progress. Thank you. And I want to echo again the shout out to Uhuru, Sasa, and Willamette University, and all of the people that have supported this, ACLU and Angela Martin and Jeremy Hayes, and so many other people, and particularly Oregonians that said no slavery, no exception. No slavery, no exception. Say it with me one time, please. No slavery, no exception. Thank you.
About our next speaker. Jaime is the president of the American Federation of Teachers Oregon. Jaime has been a longtime active member of Local 2277, the Portland Community College Federation of Faculty and Academic Professionals, in addition to serving as AFT Oregon's VP of Political Action since 2014. AFT Oregon represents 21 locals across the state with members in schools, colleges, and universities. AFT members stand for great public schools, affordable college, health care for all, and an end to bigotry and discrimination. Please welcome Jaime.
Hola y buenas noches todos. Hello and good evening, everybody. For some candidates, it's going to be a long night. For others, votes are coming in and we congratulate them. I want to say for the candidates who stepped up and put their name on the ballot, where less than 1% of the total US population has the courage to put their name on the ballot. We thank you for stepping up, for being the voice of working families, for educators, for the homeless, for fighting for reproductive women's rights. Thank all of you union members and others, allies of Union of Labor, who've knocked and phone banked, sometimes in the rain, for candidates you believe in, for candidates who want a better Oregon community, not just for educators, not just for machinists, not just for teachers, but for everybody. That's what we fight for every day. And you legislators, thank you for the many, many progressive legislation that you've passed, where other states are suppressing voters' rights. You guys made sure that we encourage and grab greater access to voters. How many of you know somebody who just mailed in their ballot yesterday or today? So we thank those legislators for creating the greater access to our right to vote and make democracy proud and work. We cannot control what happens in Alabama and Florida, but we can control what happens here in Oregon in our own backyard. And that happens when we all start knocking and start making phone calls and making donations and contributions and doing what we can for the Ron Wydens, the Christina Stevensons, and many others. Because when we win, they win, and that's what we need. We lead with values. Every vote counts. Every voice should be heard. A failure to educate the media and the public about how election day is not results day can lead to improper reporting. We need, our work is done. We've done the phone calls. We've done the knocking on doors. But now we got to make sure our election workers are safe in the jobs that they need to do to make democracy work. They are trusted members of the community who work to ensure a seamless voting process. They delivered in 2020 under intense pressure and scrutiny and are doing the same thing now. Let's make sure that our election workers are safe. Let's make sure that they do their job that they've been commissioned to do. It ain't easy right now counting votes in all different counties, and hopefully in Clackamas County, I think I heard it, we have a new clerk. And now the voters of Clackamas County don't have to wait months and months for the results. Let's remember that election night is not results night. There's some close races both here in Oregon and nationwide. The results you see on election night are just preliminary unofficial results. Election workers need time to count every single vote, including in-person, mail, absentee, overseas, and military ballots. Every vote must count. That's how democracy works here in this country. Some races are going to be too close to call tonight, but we're going to be patient because we did our work, and we're going to continue fighting. As many of the speakers have said, I can't say enough about the staff behind me of AFT Oregon. All of you who believe in democracy, who believe in the values of the working class, the middle class, and just ordinary people. We want to make sure that we have a legislature that comes in January and continues to make Oregon great. Thank you all. Jaime Rodriguez, AFT Oregon.
I make them do the high five line. All righty. So we are happy to welcome the president from SEIU Local 49 to the stage. But before I bring her up, I have a slight announcement. One of their endorsed candidates. Oh yeah, I got your attention now, didn't I? Val Hoyle, Congresswoman-elect from CD4. Woo! So I'm happy to welcome Meg Niemi, the president from SEIU Local 49 to the stage. SEIU 49 represents 15,000 members throughout Oregon, Washington, and Idaho. She has worked tirelessly to bargain for the industry-leading contracts that provide good jobs, fair wages, and job security for all of their union members, many of whom were on the front lines of the pandemic and critical jobs in healthcare, security, custodial, and other service industries. This year, they were also on the front lines of campaigns across Oregon, contacting thousands upon thousands of Oregon voters to ensure we keep Oregon moving in the right direction for working people. Please join me in welcoming Meg to the stage.
Congratulations, Val Hoyle! Congresswoman Val Hoyle! Are there any Democrats in the house? Let me hear, are there any Democrats in the house? Are there any Oregonians in the house? Are there any union members in the house? Yeah, thank you so much. I am Meg Niemi. I'm the proud president of SEIU Local 49. I'm proud to be here speaking tonight on behalf of the 85,000 SEIU members that are in Oregon. And speaking on behalf of Melissa Unger, the executive director of Local 503 as well. We are so proud to be here. Our members are essential workers. They're healthcare workers. They're state services providers. They're janitors. They're security workers. They're long-term care workers. They were all on the front lines during this pandemic, making sure that our communities were safe, healthy, and clean. Yes. And coming out of that pandemic, they were exhausted, but they knew that they had to work overtime, starting in our May primary and working all the way through until late tonight when polls close, that they had to work overtime to make sure that we have an Oregon that is moving forward for all working people, for Black, brown, white, Indigenous, no matter what our gender is, no matter what country is. Do we want an Oregon that moves forward? So our members doubled down. Members of ours like Lori Quinn. Lori is a housekeeper at the hospital in Springfield, Oregon. And just last week, Lori and her coworkers were at bargaining with their employer, and they were demanding safe staffing to be able to take care of their patients. They wanted higher pay so they could recruit and retain the best healthcare workers to take care of their community. And they were in those negotiations last week till 3 a.m. And Lori went home, took a power nap, got up, and by 10 o'clock the next morning, she was knocking on the doors for Congresswoman Val Hoyle, for Tina Kotek. Members of ours like Renato Quintero, and Renato's a janitor at Intel. And Renato makes $17 an hour and is a proud union leader. And of that money, he gives $50 a month to our COPE fund, our political action fund. That's how our members give $5, $10, and some people like Renato give $50. And we bring those dollars together to be able to put our voices behind people who will stand up for working families, who will stand up for unions, who will stand up for affordable health care. And members of ours like Paula McGuffey, she's a CNA and she works at a hospital and she has the most beautiful grandkids, and I know everybody's grandkids are the most beautiful. And she has spent so much time away from them these past few weeks as she's been out making sure she gets out the vote in Estacada, in Sandy, for Tina Kotek, for our Democratic candidates. And I'm so proud of our union because this year we didn't just talk the talk, and we did talk. We didn't just walk the walk, but we did walk. We kept track. We saw every corner of the state, and we saw a lot of wildlife as we canvassed and knocked on doors. There were bear sightings. There were deer sightings. There was a peacock. There was a pig on the loose. We saw all kinds of animals as we went out to reach out to voters. But we didn't just see the wildlife of Oregon. We talked to voters. And just in these last 10 days, our union members knocked on, this is phone calls, we made 52,000 calls. We knocked on 61,000 doors. In the past 10 days, we made 20% of the knocks and calls that were made over the campaign, and we are so proud of that. So, as a union, we like to chant, and I know people are, we've been sitting here for a minute, we're looking at our phones, but there's a chant that says, "This is what democracy looks like." Is this what democracy looks like? If you've been at a march, you might have heard this, right? So is anybody willing to chant with me? All right. This is what democracy looks like. Is this what democracy looks like? This is what democracy looks like. Is this what democracy looks like? All right. Up with Oregon.
Hello, Democrats. I joined the team at the DPO 6 years ago. And when I did, there was somebody on our team who had been here for nearly a decade. And he helped me along and helped me learn. And now he is here joining us tonight on behalf of one of our sponsors who power all of our campaigns. I am so excited to welcome Don Fisher to the stage.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Don, and I work for NGP Van. For those of you that are not campaign staff, NGP Van is the company that runs all of the voter file software that is used to run democratic elections. However, as Candy mentioned, before I started with NGP Van, I had the privilege of spending 9 years as a staff member for the Democratic Party of Oregon. Working for the DPO, I got to see firsthand the incredible amount of work that goes into winning elections, both statewide and local. Not just the work that happens during GOTV, and not just the work that happens after the primaries, but the work that started for many of you on November 4th, 2020, and the work that will start for many of you tomorrow for 2024. The tireless work that you do is truly awe-inspiring. Therefore, on behalf of everyone at NGP Van, I would like to thank the DPO's amazing staff. I would like to thank Oregon's wonderful state party officers. I would like to thank all of the incredible campaign staff who've been working tirelessly to elect Democrats up and down the ticket. And finally, to the hundreds of volunteers who have given your time and energy to knock doors, make phone calls, register voters, and have helped in many other ways to elect Democrats in order to make Oregon's future brighter. So, on behalf of NGP Van, thank you. Go Democrats.
As the son of Korean immigrants who moved here to Oregon, I could not be more honored to introduce our next organization and speaker. Apano unites Asians and Pacific Islanders to build power, develop leaders, and advance equity through organizing, advocacy, community development, and cultural work in Oregon. Throughout this campaign cycle, Apano has campaigned on statewide and local campaigns, knocking doors, making calls, and making investments in the campaigns for candidates along with their values, that align with their values. Apano created voter guides in 10 different languages, 10, held phone banks with at least 6 or more languages, and turned their HQ into a ballot assistance center in the final days of GOTV. Apano does all of this to ensure that civic engagement is accessible to all, including non-native English speakers and first-time voters. Here to speak from the front lines of Apano's team is Amy Powers, the co-executive director of Apano. Please join me in welcoming Amy to the stage.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amy Powers. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the co-executive director of Apano. I am also a mom and also a child of Korean immigrants. But I cannot believe I am standing in front of you today on election night. So bear with me. We're going to take a selfie together so I can document this. Here we go. Everyone smile. Thank you. So back when I was 18 and I was filling out my voter registration card, I think it was on paper back then. I never would have thought I'd be here in front of you today. I am in awe of the work being done every day to ensure our rights are protected and to ensure each and every one of our voices are heard, to protect our freedom and the right to vote. Apano's volunteers, our supporters, and our staff have been super busy these last few months, and we couldn't have done it without you. I am so honored to do this work with you. I am so grateful for our election officials who are taking the time to do the job right. And I love how my fellow Oregonians turned out and turned in their ballots. We will always have this opportunity to show up for one another and continue advocating for social and racial justice across this state for all Oregonians. And for our democracy to work, it must include all of us, to represent all of us. So back to that piece of paper I was filling out, I had no idea what I was doing for that until I saw the words Democrat. Then with all my heart, I checked that box, as I'm sure at that very moment, my immigrant parents were working double shifts. It is their legacy and my elders' legacy that I centered at that moment. We are strong. We are beautifully diverse. And we hold family and community in everything that we do. So now as a parent, I'm still trying to figure it out because I have a teenager and a kindergartner, but I'm working full time. I'm volunteering, advocating, and fighting the good fight. And growing up, my parents modeled this for me. My parents organized at their workplace around their labor conditions. They advocated on the behalf of our faith community. and they turned in their ballots, and then they shared their ideals all the way across on the other side of the world. My parents showed me how it took love and community to make change and to never be satisfied with the status quo. I hope that I'm sharing this and modeling this for my own kids, who will be the next leaders of our party. Apano's network has grown, and we are 9,500 households who received a copy of our voter guide, which was translated in so many languages. Not only have we grown, but we are building a movement. We are across the nation turning out in record numbers as Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, Pacific Islanders, and we at Apano want to facilitate that as much as possible. So to ensure that, we called over 13,000 people. That is a lot of phone calls. We translated our voter guide into 10 languages. We sent over 10,500 text messages. We held monthly events to build community-led solutions, and including to connect with our candidates. We wrote postcards and we shared our dreams across meals, and we dreamt about community safety, language justice, basic needs like healthcare, transportation, childcare, mental health, and safe access to abortion. We knocked on doors every single weekend to remind people about their right and opportunity to vote and to advocate for the candidates and the issues that Apano is serving. Our work is not done yet. Just around the corner is our long session, and so we will be advocating for a number of measures and legislative work that we know will help Oregonians, and especially to address the massive gaps in access to resources for Asians, Native Hawaiians, Pacific Islanders, Black, Indigenous, and all communities of color. Because when we all do better, we all do better. I hope you'll stay with us in the new year and continue advocating with us for our communities. Thank you.
Amy Powers and Apano, a necessary and vital coalition partner. So the next person we're going to bring up to the stage is retiring after a couple terms on the legislature. She's amazing. She is a nurse practitioner, and you know, you go way up in my book when you got nurse by your name. She spent 20 years. Now she's young, so she just must have been very precocious. 20 years. 20 years in hospice services, serving the elderly and folks that were confined to homes. And, you know, she can tell stories about why healthcare is so important, but she can also tell you why it's important to run for local office. Everybody, Representative Rachel Pruzak.
Good evening, everyone. So I wasn't on the docket. There was no plans for me to talk, but I've been over here on the sidelines just supporting everyone. And I'm hoping I can get everyone's attention. Hello, hello, all you people in the back having chatter. Yay, JCS sees me, you all see me in the back. Okay, so let's pay attention for a minute. For like 10 years, we have been trying to elect a Clackamas County clerk who would actually bring integrity to the office. And every election, we were not successful until tonight. We were successful tonight. The Clackamas County Clerk office is no longer going to be run by Sherry Hall, and it's going to be run by somebody who's going to bring integrity. Yes, Betty. Yes, it happened. I thought I was the last to know. I was not the last to know. So I can't see everyone because of the lights, but you all need to know that if we come together and we support each other and we find the right candidate and we don't give up, we can actually make history.
I'm just gonna clap for myself. So it's 2022 now? I've had a few glasses of wine because I'm not running for office. So it was about 4 years ago this evening that I had no idea if I was going to win my seat. It had been held by a Republican forever. Nobody thought that we can flip it. Nobody thought that I could win that except for a handful of people. And I kicked off a year-long campaign and I let everyone know not only could I do it, but I could do it because I had a community of people doing it with me. All of you, everyone in this room who gets together and knocks on doors and makes calls and makes texts and calls your friends, that is how we do it. And that is how we did it 4 years ago for my race. And it is how we did it tonight for the Clackamas County Clerk race. The fact that I can get up here tonight and talk to all of you, being asked just 5 minutes ago, when 5 years ago, I would have never been able to come up on stage and talk. I would have been quivering, I would have been shaking, I would have been scared. It just means that you all need to continue to believe in the person that is going to run for office and is going to represent you. And you are going to knock on doors and you are going to text and you are going to call and you are going to fight for the values that you believe in. Because right now people are trying to take our values away. They are trying to take away our rights to marry who we love, to protect our access to abortion, and we need to continue to fight. I don't know how much more you want me to say because I will go on forever and ever, but I don't think you want me to. You do? You want me to go on forever? I want to know when we're going to hear about more local races happening. Is that going to happen soon? Is that going to happen soon? Are we going to hear about more local races happening? Anybody? We're not. We don't know. Does anybody else want to come up here and take the microphone? Okay. For all you people in the back still talking and talking, I'm glad you're talking. I'm glad we're all together. But please just pay attention to the people up on stage who have been fighting and fighting every day to bring us the wins that we have tonight. So thank you to all of you here tonight. Thank you for everything that you do. And thank you.
Rachel Bruzak! Woo! All right. I have another election announcement. I love that. The next U.S. Senator from Pennsylvania is John Fetterman. All right, we're going to come back to the West Coast now. Now, y'all know what a tremendous staff we have at the Democratic Party of Oregon. Let's give it up for the staff. Well, one of our staff members is exceptionally amazing, and he works hard with the caucuses of the Democratic Party of Oregon. And that ain't no easy task. There's 17 of them, for crying out loud. But he does it with grace and a palm that is unmeasured. And so I bring to the stage the marvelous Mario Parker Milligan. Mario, come on up, buddy.
Good evening, everyone. It's been a short night, right? I have just a few minutes to talk about 17 amazing caucuses that make up part of the Democratic Party of Oregon. So if you go to dpo.org/caucuses right now, take out your phones. Twitter will be there. We'll have results come in and we'll announce them. But if you take out your phone now and go to dpo.org/caucuses, I have a couple things I want to talk about. So if you look at that page, we have 17 caucuses, some of them issue-based. The Environmental Caucus, the Gun Owners Caucus, the Elections Integrity Caucus, Environmental Caucus. We also have, community-based caucuses, the Black Caucus, the Asian American and Pacific Islanders Caucus, the Native American Caucus, and Latino Caucus. All of these are open spaces for Democrats who have affinities with these groups or want to organize with these groups to make the party more representative of the people who we want to vote for us. We have a disabilities caucus. We do. We also, I won't go through all of them because we have a lot. Like I said, they're all volunteer based, and every 2 years they reorganize, just like the state party. So coming up in 2023, a lot of these caucuses, if not all of them, will be reorganizing and looking for new leadership. And the first step to doing that, to be a leader within one of these caucuses, is to sign up. So if you go to the website and sign up with to join one of these or all of them, all of these caucuses, you'll be in the loop around when they have their reorganizations. And some of them are virtual, so you can take part from wherever you are in the state. So what have these groups been doing? What have these caucuses been doing? We have had, over the last 4 days, these caucuses texted over 200,000 voters in Oregon. That's kind of a big deal. Nearly 200,000 voters. They're also doing grassroots organizing, raising money for their issues that they care about, and sometimes recruiting people to show up to canvass for Democratic candidates. They're also leading phone banks and house parties. They are college students. They are young Democrats. There are, let me look at my list. Who have I not mentioned? Like I said, we have 17 of them and maybe 18 by next year. We have the Healthcare Caucus, the Labor Caucus, which is amazing. I know some of them are here tonight. The Rural Caucus, which has been doing amazing organizing throughout rural Oregon. And of course, the Stonewall Caucus, which represents LGBTQIA Oregonians. The Veterans Caucus. The Women's Caucus. There's a lot of, we have a Native American caucus. We almost have a caucus for everyone. And if you have an idea for a caucus that is not represented, come talk to me. You can email me at Mario, M-A-R-I-O, @dpo.org. What else about our wonderful caucuses? Any Democrat can join. If there are folks who are not in this room who you think should be a part of our organization, a part of one of these or multiple of these caucuses, send them that link and encourage them to join. There are opportunities around the state to engage with the issues or communities that you care about, and we need more people. We need more people. Making phone calls, knocking doors, holding space for folks to meet. There are a lot of, I think through the pandemic, we learned that a lot of people want to be together and meet and work together on things that they care about. And through these caucuses, folks are meeting sometimes weekly to just have a social space with people that they have a lot in common with. So again, go to dpo.org/caucuses, share that. You can donate to our caucuses or just join them. Again, I'm Mario. I thank you all for being here. Casey.
Yeah, it's really hard. Surprise, Mario, you're going on stage. Thank you. Mario worked so hard. Mario Parker Milligan. All righty. So we're going to give you a little break, but I want to let you know, yeah, it's a long night, right? Counting takes a while here. We will be hearing from Tina Kotek within the next 45 to 50 minutes. So hang tight, grab a drink, grab some munchies, and hang out. Go to feed.
Hello again, everybody. We want to thank you for hanging tough, staying around. Yeah. 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 You know what? Based on that response, I'm not sure if I need to introduce them, but we respect and honor them so much. I'm going to do that just the same. Speaker of the Oregon House of Representatives, Dan Rayfield, was first elected to the legislature in 2014. He represents House District 16, encompassing Corvallis, Oregon State University, and small parts of Adair Village and Albany. Julie Fahey, someone I know and I admire so much, I admire Dan too, but I know Julie and I think the world of her, is the majority leader in the Oregon House. She was elected to the legislature in 2016 to represent House District 14, which includes West Eugene and Junction City. Please join me. You already have, so I'm going to ask you to do it again. Please join me in welcoming Representative Dan Rayfield and Representative Julie Fahey to the stage. Yeah. They're going to talk with you a little bit. I want you to give them your attention. They're going to talk more about our Oregon House races and the important work ahead for the next 2 years. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you. How's everybody doing tonight? These are some good races, is it not? So while we're still waiting for the results in the Oregon governor's race to fully come in, one result here in Oregon is absolutely known. And then in Oregon, we will be bringing back a majority in the Oregon House. Right now, Oregon House Democrats are leading in 36 of 60 races, with about 5 races within about 500 votes. Now, do you know what Republicans were saying in February? Does anybody? Yeah, that's exactly right. They were saying, we're going to be in the majority. And why the heck were they saying it? Because they believed everything was stacked against Democrats this year. What was stacked against us? COVID. You had a crazy amount of money that these folks were bringing into Oregon. They even brought Phil Knight, millions of dollars coming into Oregon legislative races. Now, we've seen millions of dollars of Phil Knight money coming into governor's races, but we had not seen it into Oregon state legislative races the way they did. And what else did they do? They brought out retired Congressman Walden. And what did he do? He started a PAC and brought $4 million in. They started, and this is no joke, they flew in paid canvassers. They flew them in, some from Hawaii. All of these things were stacked against us, and I'll even admit that some of their Halloween costumes last week were probably a little bit better than ours. But what they didn't have was all of you in this room, all of you at home. And they didn't have the vision for Oregon that our candidates were selling door to door, day after day. And this moment is only possible with the candidates, their staff, our partner organizations, and everyday Oregonians who decided to show up day after day, knocking doors, texting, getting on the phones, doing anything that they can to share our vision for Oregon with each of their neighbors. And they work so hard to remind fellow Oregonians about our shared values and what is at stake this election. And while we see the candidates, we often don't see the sacrifice and the support of the people behind the scenes, the friends, families, and neighbors, all of those who showed up in incredible numbers to live out the values of democracy in action. And the one thing I want to note is that when we're passing the policies here in Oregon, think about paid family leave. Think about increasing the minimum wage. That stuff starts during elections. Now you see representatives in the legislature passing this legislation. But what we don't see is all of you in this room that helped us get there. This is a team sport. We are all in this together in the legislation that we pass, and all of you are a part of that, and I want to thank you for that.
So why did Oregonians decide to keep Democrats in charge this year? Because they know that Oregon House Democrats are here to fight for working families. They know that Oregon House Democrats are here to prevent gun violence. They know that Oregon House Democrats are here to protect the right to abortion. And Oregonians voted us for to work on these issues, and work on these issues we will. So with that, I want to remember this. Elections are absolutely an amazing time in our democracy. Every 2 years, there is an exchange of ideas about what we want this state to look like now, 10, 20 years into the future. And we get to do that peacefully in each of our communities and across this state. And some of us voted for Republicans. Some of us voted for Democrats. Some of us voted for third-party candidates. And some of us didn't vote at all here in the state. But our job in the House is to show up. Our job is to govern for the benefit of all Oregonians, to look out for each other and to take care of one another. And so with that, I just want to thank everyone here and turn it over to our most amazing Majority Leader, Julie Fahey.
Thank you, Dan. Hello, Democrats. All right, I feel like it's 10:23. You can do a little bit better than that. Hello, Democrats. Let's give it up one more time for Speaker Dan Rayfield. And let's give it up for all of the amazing state legislators that we are bringing back to the Oregon House this year. If you are a member of the Oregon House or a candidate, come on up to the stage. Woohoo! I feel like there's good energy. People are running. All right, and we are FaceTiming in with candidates from around the state too, so it's amazing. All right, we have got Rob Nose, Chair of the Healthcare Committee. We've got Andrea Valderrama, ConFam Environmental Champion, Lisa Reynolds, Behavioral Health Chair, Courtney Nero, Tana Sanchez, Dacia Graber, Maxine Dexter, Zach Hudson, Mark Gamma, newly elected Mayor of Milwaukee, Jules Walters, newly elected Mayor of West Lynn, Tam Rayfield, Hua Win, Twee Tran, and Daniel Wynn. This is an amazing, amazing group of legislators. And Nancy Nathanson has FaceTime in from Eugene. This is an amazing, amazing group of people that I'm so excited to join us in the House Democratic Caucus. As Dan said, we are winning currently in 36 races. 5 of those races are within 500 votes. Actually, 6 now are within 500 votes with the 10 o'clock update. So 6 are within 500 votes, including Hua Win and Zach Hudson. And so we are still waiting for some results. We know that we're waiting for those late ballots to come in, but I am just so thrilled to have all of these amazing people up on stage. And I also want to invite up on stage someone who's going to be super embarrassed, Dan Torres, Executive Director of Future Back. Dan Torres. Woo! Dan, we so appreciate your leadership. Dan took over the Future PAC during one of the most challenging cycles in recent memory and has just delivered for us. Your leadership, your calm and steady hand, we could not have had a better person at the helm. So thank you so much. Woo! And an enormous thank you to the rest of the staff at Future PAC.
Lucas, Roxy, Abigail, Emily, Andrew. Woo! And a thank you to all of the staff at the Democratic Party of Oregon and the coordinated campaign too, and to every campaign manager, field director, and intern that gave it their all this cycle. You all are why we are up here back in the majority this year. And I also want to take just a second to acknowledge the candidates for whom the election did not go their way this time, especially to those folks who ran in rural or heavily Republican districts where the odds of winning were long. Thank you. It is so important for voters in every part of this state to have real choices between qualified candidates. It helps us get the message out about what we as Democrats stand for. It ensures Republicans have to defend their positions on the campaign trail, and ultimately it strengthens our democracy. Oregon is better off because of all of you who ran, so thank you. As Democrats, we are fighting for the Oregonians who are too often left behind, for the person working 2 jobs to make ends meet, for the workers on the strike line fighting for better wages, hours, and working conditions, for the seniors struggling to afford prescription drugs, and for the teachers, nurses, and first responders who have sacrificed so much these past few years. And you know what? We are going to keep fighting for Oregon. So let's celebrate all of our hard work this election cycle. Let's rest. And then let's get ready to roll up our sleeves and get back to work next year. Thank you all so much. One more round of applause for the Oregon House Democrats.
All righty. While we wait for Tina, we'll go back to a TV break, but another announcement. Tony Evers has won re-election as Wisconsin governor. Tina. All righty then. All right. All right. All right. Tina Kotek is a fighter. She has been fighting for working families, fighting for abortion rights, fighting for our environment her entire career. And I know that pretty dang soon she's going to be fighting for all of us as our next Oregon governor. Tonight, I am proud to introduce Tina Kotek. Good evening, everyone. How we doing out there? Good evening, Oregon. Thank you for your patience. You look beautiful. It's nice to be out here tonight. So good to see you. So I know that everyone is anxious for this race to be called. Believe me, I am too. But the reality is the race is just too close to call tonight. I am optimistic about the numbers, but it's still too early, folks. Thank you. You know, it's actually not surprising that we have to be a little bit more patient. Oregon has the best voter access laws in the country. And as you know, the legislature passed 2 new changes that make it even easier to vote. And while that is good for democracy, it also means we need to be patient, and it will just take longer for all the votes to be counted. But I know that you are all patient people because you believe in democracy, and we'll just need to wait. So let's give a shout out to all the election workers who will be working overtime to count every vote. This campaign for governor has been absolutely an amazing experience. Thank you. There have been 4,000 volunteers on this campaign for governor. There have been more than 24,000 contributors to this campaign. This is the grassroots campaign for governor in the state of Oregon. We have had an amazing coalition of labor, choice, environmental activists, communities of color, frankly, anyone who cares about the future of this state. And we have had also an incredible student. Absolutely. We have had an incredible, also student-led effort for this campaign. We've had Students for Tina on university campuses. Teens for Tina reaching out to younger voters. Younger Oregonians know what is at stake in this governor's race. It's about choice. It's about the climate. It's about gun violence prevention. Our young Oregonians are going to lead us forward in this campaign, and they have. Thank you for being here. I've met a lot of young Oregonians on this race. I'm going to divert a second for my script. It's so inspiring when someone who's 8 or 9 or 10 comes up to you and says, I believe in you. I believe in our future. We need you to be elected. Young people are going to save us. We have a future because of them. I want to thank everyone who has volunteered this year, volunteered their time to help Democrats up and down the ticket. Thank you so much. You showed up. You didn't take anything for granted. You knocked on doors. You made phone calls. You pitched in a few dollars if you could. That is why we are seeing success here in Oregon tonight for Democrats. Thank you. Since I have a moment here, I also want to thank the incredible staff of Team Tina. Can we get a round of applause for folks on my campaign? I have never worked with a more talented, hardworking, dedicated group of individuals who were committed to making sure we could run the race we needed to run. And I want to especially thank our campaign manager, Megan Kavanaugh. Thank you, Megan. Because we as Democrats know that politics is a team sport. It takes everyone. It takes a great staff. It takes thousands of volunteers. It also takes our family standing with us. And I want to thank my wife, Amy Kotek Wilson, who is here tonight. Amy is incredible. Any of you have met her know that she is strategic and smart and incredibly funny, and also knows what matters to Oregonians because she has been on the ground as a social worker helping people. And it's that knowledge that she and I share of what it means to help real people every day that's going to help us lead this state to make sure people have what they need so we can all move forward together. And I just want to say to my wife, I love you. Thank you for everything. Amy, 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 Amy. Thank you all. So I know it's late. For now, we need to respect the process. We need to wait. Every vote counts. Every vote must be counted. And so it looks like we might be waiting a while before things are official. And that's, frankly, that's okay. Because we want to make sure that every Oregonian who turned in their ballot gets heard. So we'll be back, maybe tomorrow, but for tonight, we love you. Thank you for everything you do for democracy, and we'll be back. Have a nice night. Thank you. Everyone. Democrats, while we wind down tonight, you say hi to Tina. We've got a lot of races that are close, so thank you for coming tonight. Drive safe home and be ready for the canvases tomorrow. I'm kidding. Thank you, Democrats.